Hello everybody, hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. We are back with another One Leeds video. We are back with the rumour mill. Yes, let's make sure my mic's on. It is fantastic, all these checks that I should have done beforehand, but I'm always rushing to get on One Leeds to provide you guys with a bit of content before we start the video. Make sure you're slapping a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the One Leeds Fan Channel, of course, and make sure you're maybe joining the Patreon, everyone. Shout out to all the new Patreon members. Dan as well, who joined last night. Appreciate you, my friend. Yeah, loads of good Patreon members joining this week. Lee, Russell, Matthew, Richard, and of course Dan. So yeah, 300 of you in the building. Hello everyone, welcome back. It has been 3 or 4 days since I've done, actually it's been probably about nigh on 6 or 7 days since I've done a live. And we're here to discuss Leeds United. We're here to discuss nothing. Absolutely nothing. Obviously there will be stuff to talk about, but yeah, Leeds are still awaiting the EFL takeover. That is what we're waiting on at the minute, and until that is done, Leeds United cannot move forward with the managerial appointment. So we are sort of just waiting now. 42 days since the start, or till the start, I should say, of the Championship season. The players are back in on the 2nd of July in less than a week. So yeah, and you know, we were saying beforehand that other teams aren't really moving. I think the last time we were on a live, I was getting a few comments saying, you know, it's well, Southampton haven't got Martin and no signings are coming in. Well, they are now. You know, Sunderland have signed a couple of players. Norwich, I've seen today, have signed a couple of players as well. It is starting to move now, and I think my overall synopsis with all of this is, you look at how long Leeds have got left now to the start of the season, and I think we should all be maybe less naive to the fact that this isn't going to be sorted when the season starts, as in all the productivity when it comes to signings, players going out. This is going to go well into the transfer window, and Leeds are going to start the season, and Leeds are probably going to be well in the month of August, and maybe into the month of September before this starts to take shape. And I think, you know, that is realism at the minute. It's Leeds are not going to get this done straight away. EFL approval could come within the next week. You'd hope it does, but until that point, Leeds are not able to get anything underway, really. You know, maybe Farker is in the wings to come in. Of course, I'm sure he is, after positive talks. I'm sure there is something in that. But until it's done, it's signed, sealed, and delivered, and Leeds are waiting on that, then we can't really do anything about that. We're told that apparently, according to the YEP, that obviously Farker did impress, and the Mail are saying that, you know, when this does happen, it's going to start moving quickly, but it's not going to be quickly enough for the start of the season. There's absolutely no chance. Unless they've got players in the wings waiting or signed and ready to go. But, you know, I'm sure Leeds have targets, but they can't really have players signed and ready to go. I don't think that's really how football works, to be honest with you. They might have a short list of Daniel Farker's players. What we do need to realise is, if it is Daniel Farker, he wants a certain brand of football. So he wants a specific player set. If we do not go out and get that specific player set, then obviously, you know, he's not going to be happy. So you kind of need him through the door to start, you know, saying yes, saying no to all of these signings, really. And of course, Leeds United currently have no real ball players. In the midfield, I think at the back maybe we've got one or two. So Farker is going to want to change a lot if he does come in. So the churn is real at Leeds, and I think that's where maybe, you know, apparently according to Athletic, there was an agreement for Leeds United to be taken over on the day of the end of the season, yeah? If Leeds had stayed in the Premier League, there was an agreement for Rads to transfer to the 49ers. That was done. Signed, sealed, and delivered. A nice package, Vodafone, you know, that's what I'm talking. Nice little package you've got, 28 quid a month, however many minutes. You had that package ready. There was no package ready, according to The Athletic, for Leeds United if they were relegated to the Championship. You literally cannot make it up. You cannot make it up, and that's from both sides as well. So that is why Leeds are in limbo at this moment in time, because this is taking longer than it should, which is a bit of a shame, to be honest with you. So let's get through a few of your comments. Jason says, why the EFL taking so long? I don't know, Jason. I don't know when it went through, my friend. Thanks for your donation. I don't know when the application and all of this sort of good stuff went through. They might have been finalised. They might have finalised the package and sent it off to the EFL only sort of like 6 to 7 days ago, which I think it was. So I don't know how long that approval takes. But as I say, nothing can nothing can move. You can't bring a manager in if he doesn't know who the owners are. And that's what I said. I mean, someone said to me on Twitter, they went, why are you just saying what Graham said the day after? And I said, well, I told you guys the day before that the contact, luckily enough, just for this specific transfer, the contact I have is a very, 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 very good one. And he said, and I told you guys on here last week, that Daniel Farke wasn't convinced yet by the structure, the framework at Leeds United. And that's probably why it's taking so long and we're hearing nothing. Farke's probably thinking to himself, well, I can't really, as long I'm going to have to keep my options open here, because if this does last another week and a half, if it does last another week, I'm not going to have a long time to put my ethos, my philosophy, bring the players that I need together, get the players out that I don't need, build that squad harmony. Norwich each and every time he had a full summer. So it's a massive factor, that it really is. What's up, Connor? Hey, Stephen. What would make the EFL reject a proposal? I think it'd have to be something pretty deep, to be honest. I mean, they approved Chileno, didn't they? So, I don't think it's going to get rejected, but it is just that sticker, isn't it? That sticker of approval that we need, unfortunately, which is why it's a bit of an issue. Now let's get on some other news as well. Serie A side Salernitana are interested in signing Leeds United defender Leo Yelder on a permanent transfer. That's something that I'd be a little bit upset with, to be honest. I really like Leo Yelder. I think as in a back two and potentially even in a back three on that left-hand side, I think he'd be very, very good. Can fill in as a left-back as well, and we've seen him do that in the Premier League. I like Yelder. I think he's better than a lot of our centre-backs, and I think that would be a mistake. Now, there's a lot of news today, and it's from Sky Italia, and I know that everyone, I mean, you guys in particular, will be a little bit worried about this, and I am essentially in a strange sort of way. You can put whatever rationale you want against it, but there are stone cold hard facts here. Leeds United are not happy that shout out LUFC Fan Zone as well, who've stuck this on Twitter. Are not happy due to several of their players want to leave the club on loan due to a relegation clause. Bear in mind, when they have gone down to the Championship, all of them have taken 50 to 60% reduction in wages, which is a good thing. But Leeds United are not happy that several of their players want to leave the club on loan due to a relegation clause in their contracts. Well done, Victor Orta and Angus Kinnear there. Everyone blaming Orta, but Kinnear's got a big say in this as well, who's still at the club. Allowing them to temporarily leave if the club pays 100% of their salary. Roma are one of those clubs trying to take advantage of this. Listen, Diego Llorente and Rasmus Christensen, I couldn't give two hoots about, and we'll get onto that in a bit. But if they're trying to take advantage of that, is there going to be a Willy Gnonto in there? Is there going to be one of our new? Could that be a sign? Could someone like Jorginho Rutter come in and have that in his contract as well? Who knows? But Roma are one trying to take advantage of this. However, Leeds are trying to find a more diplomatic solution. So as I say, there is relegation clauses, which makes it a little bit easier when it comes to a financial capacity. But it seems like when you look at Brendan Aronson, Rasmus Christensen, Diego Llorente, the loan aspect of everything at the minute seems very, very obvious and very in your face, and it is a little bit of a worry, especially if Leeds are looking to accrue value for some of these players, which we all hoped was going to be a thing when we went out to the Championship. But of course, Leeds United being Leeds United, it's never simple, is it? It's never simple, and allegedly the 49ers are a bit naffed off with it. And this follows on from the news that Fulham have approached Leeds to sign Brendan Aronson on loan. The USA international, like a number of Leeds signings over the past couple of years, has a loan clause in his contract because of Leeds relegation. The clause being that Leeds must accept any loan offer for Aronson where the interested club pays 100% of the player's wages. So, I mean, it also reflects massively on the naivety of the club, and it also emphasises what Rad said at the start of last season. We were getting some of these players in, and he was telling everybody that it was impossible for us to get relegated. You do wonder if those words have also been integrated in some of these players' contracts. When it comes to relegation, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. The positive is, of course, that because we got relegated, the 50, 60% wage reduction was stuck in, which will have helped Leeds massively. But you do wonder, the naivety when it came to relegation was pretty obvious, because in the contracts, they had this little stipulation, which it seems like Roma in particular are exploiting at the minute. So this is a little bit worrying, I think. So let's hope we can, as Baxter says, loans United, but hopefully we can we can get over this, and it's not going to be. And it's not going to be a big thing because, you know, if this starts to become a thing and Leeds are having to loan players here, there and everywhere and there's clauses and Leeds have to abide by those clauses, it's a contractual obligation, then, I mean, I really don't know what else we can do, to be honest with you. Mickey, Mick, thanks for your donation, mate. What's your thoughts on players coming in? Keep up the great work. Love the channel, bro. Thanks, Mickey. Top, really lovely comment there. Yeah, Mickey, I mean, there's a few. I mean, there's one as well today. I don't know if any one of you guys have seen Ethan Ampadu. It was all over my timeline today because I follow a few Sheffield United accounts, obviously, from my previous job. But Ethan Ampadu is basically leaving, obviously, his parent club for 12 million quid. Now, that is one that stuck out to me immediately. Now, would he drop down a level again? I don't know. You know, Sheffield United, I thought in the Premier League he was very good, and I think he'd be an absolutely superb signing. So that's one that's just come to me today. I think he covers the ground, he's versatile, could definitely play centre-back, defensive midfield, could slot in at right-back as well. Played at a very, very good level. Ethan Ampadu, for me, is one that I'd be all over. 12 million quid, get that one sorted. 12 million nowadays is absolutely nothing and should be nothing for Leeds United. Especially with, you know, the recent takeovers. That's someone who I'd definitely look at for that central defensive midfield role. And a lot of you guys were saying, you know, hammering me when I was daring to say that we could replace Tyler Adams. But someone like Ethan Ampadu would be a good replacement for Tyler Adams. I was never saying Tyler Adams was a bad player, but a lot of Tyler Adams' attributes can be replicated and they can be bettered in a possession-based system. If you don't want to believe that, that's absolutely fine. Some of you might think he's a better ball player than I think. When he first signed for Leeds United, I was going on about Mo Kamara at the time. More than happy with Tyler Adams when he came in. Of course, I think he was literally one of the standouts, wasn't he? But he was a standout because there's a skill set that Jesse Marsch honed in on that brought the best out of Tyler Adams. In a possession-based system, someone like Mo Kamara at the time would have been ideal, would have been perfect and better than Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams is very good at what he does, but I think when you're looking at a possession-based system, a manager like Daniel Farke would probably look at bringing in someone else. Or, you know, obviously, we've heard reports saying that the club want to keep Tyler Adams, they want to do this, that and the other, but you're going to have ball players around Tyler Adams because, in my opinion, progressive, when we're going forward, I don't think he's that sort of player. Laterally, playing the ball side to side, winning the ball, and hard tackles and all this sort of stuff. The defensive display, energy, endeavour, fantastic, which is probably what you need in the Championship. So I'd definitely keep hold of him. But there's a lot of people having absolute meltdowns that we wouldn't be able to replace Tyler Adams. We definitely would. And someone like Ethan Ampadu is a perfect example I saw today, where Leeds can get a lot of money back. And probably go for someone who has as much potential and is better maybe with the ball at his feet than Tyler Adams. So that's probably someone who I just thought of, mate. But yeah, a whole list of players. We've done 10 players that I'd go for, I think, on the... Is it on the Patreon account? I'll have to just think of it, really. But I think it is. To be fair, Connor, you lost your integrity when you backed Rocker. I also said McKennie at the time shouldn't come to Leeds. I said there's better players out there. So, hey, listen, I said they should have got rid of Jesse Marsch in the summer before we got on and everyone was hammering me for not backing him and all this sort of stuff. There's been a few questionable shouts, but I said with Mark Rocker, he didn't fit in Jesse Marsch's system. In a possession-based system, Espanyol, Bayern Munich, when he's going to Betis, he'll be much better. Context has to be applied. Won't go there again. Let's have a look. Thoughts on Rutter? Yeah, apparently Hoffenheim are looking to re-sign Rutter. I don't know if that was your question, mate, but I'm going to slap your ambition down there. I just... You do wonder what is going to be, what Leeds are going to be able to get out of this transfer window when it comes to keeping hold of players. Do I think Daniel Farke will become Leeds United manager? I do. Do I think Leeds are going to get the utmost value for certain individuals? I really don't. I just don't see it. But if you're getting, for example, I keep mentioning Tyler Adams, but he's a big asset, isn't he? Leeds are obviously going to try and convince him. But honestly, if Brighton or Villa or a club like that are going to come in for 25 million quid, bearing in mind where we are now, everybody, where we are now, and what we bought Adams for as well, is there it's like the same with Meslier. I'm not just throwing Adams in there at all. It's not just Adams. Are there players out there where you can get more value, a mass value for these two because they're big assets, and then, put less into those positions and spread that wealth around and still get as good a return? I think there are. Elan Meslier, classic example, pulling one out the hat. Rodak, Sam Johnston, for me, better than Elan Meslier. Better than Elan Meslier. So yeah, I think there's definitely recruitment out there where Leeds can do a really good job. It's, like I say, everyone, as long as we all understand, right here, right now, Fatboy Slim, what a set, by the way. What a set, by the way. If none of you have checked Glastonbury out, check out Fred again. He won the weekend, but that's my EDM background. But anyway, yeah, I think there are players out there where Leeds can recruit really, really well. And it's just going to be about us as fans understanding that this isn't going to be done by the start of the season, because it's not. Recruitment is not going to be signed, sealed, and delivered like it really was for Bielsa at the start of the season. That's not going to happen. Leeds, with what's gone on, it's been too long, and it's going to take a while for us to get it signed and done. People not interested in EDM, fair enough. Alex, no one's died, mate. No one's died. Chill out. Flipping heck. Connor, if we can't buy anyone, we can't sell anyone. Yeah, I'm not sure on the stipulation on that, but I think Rocker's pretty much gone, hasn't he? But yeah, you could be right, mate. I think I think it's all going to start kicking off as soon as the ownership gets solved. Yes, Kyle. Yes. Matt Sean together from Toronto. Great to catch you live. Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you coming around, mate. We might get away with the late recruitment due to our opening games. Current squad should be able to beat Cardiff and Birmingham. Yeah. I know everyone's... Oh, God. It's... All right. Listen, I think we'll be fine. I do. I think maybe fans are going to be overhyping where we're going to... The league, for me, is not great, and I understand that. But I still don't think... you've got to get a manager in who wants to play. Once again, and this is why we had absolute dough balls in charge of the football club, and they transitioned away from what we were so good at. You're going to have to get those players, again, if you want to play in a Farker system, to be dynamic, to be fluid on the ball, to be absolute harriers off the ball, all of them. And you're going to have to... I don't know if the current squad, for me, in terms of how they ended last season, I think a lot of people just think that they're going to go straight back up and that we're going to start battering teams. I just don't see it. And listen, I could be wrong, but I think Leeds still need some serious improvements and a manager who's going to come in and turn it around very, very quickly for us to be at the upper echelon of the Championship. That's my thoughts. I think it's going to be a bit of a slog for Leeds to start with. I don't think it's going to be one of those where we go into the season and start, just because it's the Championship, blowing teams away, because we're just not sorted. We're not sorted. There's too much uncertainty with players' futures. Even when players are linked away from Leeds United, the heads could be somewhere else, and that's... I mean, Gnonto was unbelievable the other night. I don't know if anybody of you caught that for the Italy under-21s. He literally looked like a man playing in a kids league. He was unbelievable. Been called Starboy on the Italy Twitter account. It's going to be difficult for Leeds to keep hold of him. Tyler Adams, if Villa are in for him, Brighton are in for him, can he really say no? I'm just saying, guys, I think there's going to be a lot of churn. Is Drame going to stick around? Is he? Do we know if that's going to be a thing? Are we actually going to go out and properly invest in a left back? Like, what squad are we talking about? Because Firpo's going, Rocker's going, Mellier's going, Strauch's going, Christensen's going. Obviously, Llorente's gone. Aronson, will he go? Adams. I think maybe Rutter will stick around, but who knows? So when we're all saying this current squad, it's like, well, it's not going to be this current squad. So you're going into next season with a completely different squad, and is it going to be set up properly to go into the season and really thrive and achieve? Because, let's be like Cardiff, there's not going to be wholesale changes there, and Birmingham and all this sort of stuff. They are there to be beaten, of course they are, but Leeds need to go into the season prepared as well, really prepared. The idea of what they're doing, transition from hoofball like we've had for the past 3 managers back into a possession-based system, get drilled into that in 40 days. These new players need to have like the synergy with the old players, instantaneously if we want to hit the ground running. There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do. So yeah, I think it's going to take a while. Yeah, Vic, I'm not saying we're not going to sign some players. I'm saying we've got 40 odd days to do it, mate. And I'm saying I think maybe a lot of fans think we're going to hit the ground running, but it's going to be a big churn. It's a big churn in ideas, philosophy, everything. I think maybe it's my thoughts. It's just a little bit of naivety thinking that we're going to go in and just batter every team and we're going to be at the upper echelon. Could be wrong, and I hope I am wrong. But I think there's too much to do for it to start straight away. Yes, Ted. Well, you're right. You're right, mate. You are right. Heard after Perot. Yeah, Perot would be a good signing. I'd welcome that. I would welcome that. I think the individual who keeps tweeting all of these things out, who announced the Perot thing, don't know where he's come from. Don't know where he's come from, but he's I think a lot of Leeds fans are blowing him up. Fair play to him. Leeds United fan, hey Connor, I was born in 2004. Leeds got relegated from the Premier 2004. I'm a Leeds content creator. I've got 368 subs. I love the channel. What do you think of Rodrigo's transfer? Yeah, go follow this lad, Leeds United fan. What do you think of Rodrigo on a free transfer to Sevilla? I hope it's not a free transfer, mate, but it is what it is, isn't it? I mean, unfortunately, it is just what it is. What you sign a player for 31 million. Did Rodrigo ever give us his full worth? I don't think he did. I think he kind of did in the last season, of course, but it just never really worked with him at Leeds. It was a bad transfer. Once again, he never fit in ever. So it was always going to be a bit of an issue. But 31 million, flipping out. From Bielsa to this, what I will say, old school, is I think Daniel Farke in the Championship. I saw something earlier where Bielsa's points per game was something like 1.91. It was ridiculous. You got to think Bielsa didn't have that many games in the Championship. Daniel Farke's had much more games in the Championship, and I think he was third. He had a really, really good points per game ratio. So that's encouraging. That is encouraging. But he's going to have much more to do in a short space of time. He really is than what Webber and him did at Norwich when they built the side. But if you're just looking even at that, let's have a look at this Norwich side under Farke. So we'll go Leeds 1. There's that they battered Leeds. Let's have a look at this side that they started with, and if we remember that game, that was a mental game where they just battered us, and that was Bielsa, wasn't it? I mean, we smashed them as well down there earlier on in the season. But we just have a quick look at this side, and we can have a look at exactly what he'd be looking at. Oh fuck you now! Look at this, man. I mean, that's a bad back five, that, innit? Flipping it. But yeah, if you look in here at this Norwich side, straight away you've got Max Aarons and Jamal Lewis there, literal pace. In the Championship, the Norwich were a very, very good side this season. Zimmerman, a bit of experience there. Godfrey, a young lad now who's in the Premier League, a little bit of pace. I think they bought him for 30 million. I think the big ones are here, Vrancic and Tribal. Tribal that season, and Tribal's a little bit like Tyler Adams there. And this is what you're probably expecting from a hold on, I think you guys have got my thingy up there. It's a bit annoying, isn't it? Let's hold on. Sorry, I've not checked that one out. Get off. Let me just zoom this in. Let's have a look. That's a little bit better, I guess. Maybe you guys can see that just about. So yeah, you got Krul in net here, a little bit of experience there, obviously pre-Newcastle. Then the back line, you got pace, you got a little bit of youth there, and you got experience in Zimmerman. Vrancic was so underrated in this system for me, so underrated. He tore us apart that night, but someone who can get the ball, left foot was brilliant. He was a very, very good set piece taker as well, which helps. And then Tribal's obviously a little bit of a harrier who could be the Tyler Adams sort of version there, but you need a player in there really, and that's where I know a lot of you guys hated Mark Rocker, but Mark Rocker's almost a very similar profile to what Vrancic was really. but Vrancic was in a possession-based system. I wonder if you put Vrancic in a hoofball system, how good he'd have been then. But then you look at this front four, and Buendia was just unbelievable in the Championship, very Hernandez-esque, obviously a little bit younger. Steeperman was just an ox who was at left-back, and Farke did a really good job bringing him into central attacking midfield, actually, and he was excellent, especially in that game. And all Hernandez, quick, very unknown that season, and Pukki, who obviously got, 38 goals, and yeah, they had a bit of depth on the bench as well. If you look at McLean, Hanley, Todd Cantwell there, Shrabeni, who wasn't amazing, but still a little bit of depth on the bench. But this is what I mean, guys. It's for what he wants, for what Farke is going to want. It's a very, very specific player. And it took a while. It did take a while for them to get that. And you remember at the start of the season? Remember at the start of the season when Leeds battered them? What was it, 4-0, 3-0, 4-0 down there? And it took them a while to really get going. They were all singing Farke out towards, I think it was it September, end of September, start of October? I can't remember. But they were not happy with him whatsoever. Stuck with him, and then they just mauled the Championship, didn't they? So, yeah, it might take a while for Leeds to really... Yeah, and like Vic said, we've got pace. We have got pace. I'm not sure about creativity. I don't know who's instigating creativity for me in that Leeds side. But you might mean Norwich there, mate. I'm not sure. But I don't think there's really have a creative midfielder there, to be honest. And once again, Vic, that's it. Who's going to be our Buendia? But on a lower level, who's going to be your Steeperman? You know, who's going to be your Vrancic, your Todd Cantwell, your Pukki? Is Pukki going to be Bamford? I bet your bottom dollar he doesn't fancy him, you know. I bet he doesn't. So that will be interesting. Yeah, pink away room. Do we trust the board to buy Farke? Good technical quality, simply don't have the time. You can't trust the board yet, Jamie, because they oversaw what happened as well last season and they were a part of it. So I can't trust them yet. I need to see more moves than just Nick Hammond for me to trust the board and believe in the board. When they start, if they bring in Farke, that'll be a good move. And then if we start seeing big Championship players coming in and us being able to retain, we're not going to be able to retain all of our starting 11, but if we're able to retain Somerville, Willie Gnonto, Rutter, you know, Cody Drame, then they're big sign. Obviously, Tyler Adams, you know, regardless of what I've said, Tyler Adams, if they're able to retain players like that, that's massive. But they have to add the proper players. You have to add players who are technically good. Once again, guys, Norwich that year, like we were, about I think it was a year and a bit afterwards with Bielsa, it was a year afterwards, wasn't it, when we were unbelievable and nobody could touch us. That season, Norwich, nobody could touch them. They were too good. And we got a lesson at Ellen Road. And it's one of those things where he wants a specific brand of football, a very, very specific brand of football. So the board really do have to back him in. And as I've said to you guys earlier on, from what I know, from what I've been told, he's not sure on the structure yet from above. Believe that or not, I'm just trying to share with you guys what I was told. He doesn't believe in it right yet. He doesn't know what's going on. That's what I got told. He doesn't know what's going on. So there we go. Believe that or not. So we just don't know, and it's the green light thing, isn't it? It's the green light. When will it get accepted? Who knows? By the EFL. J Lam says, do you think it could be getting sorted with new players behind the scenes as soon the EFL? If it's going to move quickly, Jay, you'd hope so. So the manager would then have to be sorted behind the scenes already, because then the manager would have to be ticking off all these players. Oh, Ryan, that'd be... I don't know how I'd feel about that, you know, mate. I would like Carrick. I massively would love Carrick. I'd be a massive fan of that. But Farke, I'd be all right with until we got to the Prem. Yeah, Harrison says, how has Christensen managed to get a move? Listen, if it was an actual transfer and we could get like 8... I mean, we paid 10 million for Christensen. 10 million. 18 million on Llorente. We paid 30 million quid combined for Christensen and Llorente. 30 million. It's not my money, but it is my money because it's Leeds United and we suffer because of it. But yeah, Christensen, listen, Roma, if Roma, I mean, I don't know, maybe Roma will sign him permanently or whatever, but I was never and will never be convinced that he's a footballer at any top level. I cannot believe he must have the most unbelievable agent. The fact that he's starting for Denmark still blows my mind. He's nowhere near good enough. Yeah, people talk about his athleticism. He can't move. Remember about 4 times last season, Jota beat him in the air. Pedence beat him in the air. You know, he can't. At the start, you know, when he's making moves at fullback, he can't run. He's rigid. He's stiff. He's not quick off the turn. What has he got? And Mourinho clearly sees something. Maybe it's the standard of league. I'm not sure where he'd thrive. I don't know. But flipping heck. So yeah. Let's not get into that, Sam. It'll send me over the edge. But yeah. So listen. Guys, it can be done. Of course it can. We're going to be back tomorrow with another... Yeah, we'll do a live tomorrow, probably at the same time. I know you guys love these, but I really appreciate your support. Keep making sure you're liking the content, making sure you're subscribed as always. I hope you have a really good evening. If you want to sign up and support the channel via the Patreon, thank you so much to everybody who's joined this week. You know, we've got a couple of members who've joined this week. Let me just flash them up here. We've got Lee, Russ, Matt, Matthew, Richard, and of course Dan, who just joined last night. Shout out to you, mate. Guys, really appreciate your support as always, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers.